This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
Yes, welcome to Racing Action Today. We're here today to celebrate a very special episode in our show. It actually is number 500. If you could believe that, it's been that kind of a history. Starting with show number 1, and here we are with show number 500, which is kind of a sweet and sour mix for me because we want to remember all the history, but today's show is also going to earmark a new series for us that we're going to introduce to you in the upcoming fall schedule. And I'm with longtime friend and a person who's been on many shows with us, Dave Alkis of Plainville Stadium fame, 5-time champ. And we were actually friends in high school, right, Dave?
That's right, Larry.
Yep.
Yeah, we grew up together.
Yep.
And through the beginning of my career with racing, I started out with the novice classes back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's 1963 we started racing with novice against a lot of the fellas, Frankie Manafort and Adolf Pekka and a lot of the old timers.
You know, that's of course, that's how we got to really know each other. And, you know, Dave, something I never probably explained to you, how this all started. You and the viewers. You know, this is a kind of an interesting story, how we started doing Racing Action Today. And I'm going to get into it now. When I was kind of, you know, growing up with my family, raising my family, I kind of put my racing activity on the shelf, and so we could get the family going and the kids in school. And at one point, the kids were kind of on their own, and I said to my wife, you know, I'd like to go up to the local drag strip to see what's going on, just to get a feel for things. And we packed a picnic lunch and made the trek up to Lebanon Valley drag strip and spent the day there, kind of enjoyed everything. And lo and behold, on the way home, I announced to my wife, Carol, who's always been on my side, that, you know what, it's time to put a car together and start racing, which she didn't have no problem with. And said, sure, well, let's do whatever you want to do. Lo and behold, my younger son, who had an older Mustang, like a early 1980s, blew the engine in the car. It was only a 4-cylinder car. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put that car together. I got a used, newer Mustang and used the drivetrain out of that, got that going. So now we started drag racing again. And we would go to Lebanon Valley, and the class I would race in was called bracket racing. There's 2 classes in bracket racing. There's electronics and foot brake, they call it, non-electronics. That's the class I was in. So now we're racing on this day, this particular day, with some friends of mine that were from our area, and I happened to win that day, which didn't happen often.
That's good.
But we got a win.
That's good.
So now we're in the winner's circle, taking pictures and getting the trophy and kind of really having a good time. And all of a sudden, a gentleman comes up to me and says, I'm Dumas such and such from a local radio TV station in Pittsfield, Mass. Can I interview you? I said, sure, why not? So he interviews us, and this is all new to me. I never got interviewed in my life. And we got done, and he was walking away, and I said, sir, hold it. How can I get a copy of this, what you just what you just did today? Because you took pictures of us racing and the interview. He said, I will send you a copy. Give me your address.
That's good.
And I said, oh, great. And then he says to me, by the way, do you have a local public or community TV station? I said, yes, I believe we do. On our home station, Channel 5, there's a company called Nutmeg TV. And I said, oh, that's great. He said, bring them the tape and they will air it on TV. So I said, wow.
There's your start.
So so listen, fine. A couple of weeks go by. We get lo and behold, in the mail, I get a package, and this package had a 8-track tape. I mean, those things were huge.
Yeah, back in them days.
And I'm not even sure I had an 8-track player, to tell you the truth. We're trying to remember back then.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I got the tape, and then I said, you know what? I have to look up, see where Nutmeg TV is. At the time, they were in Plainville, Connecticut. So I said, okay. So I came to Nutmeg in Plainville, and there was a receptionist there. Her name was Noreen. And I said, I have a show here that was edited for TV for a certain amount of time show. Can I air it? She said, absolutely. What town are you in? Because you have to be in one of the 9 towns that represent Nutmeg TV.
That's right, yeah.
And I told her Berlin. She said, oh yeah, you're fine. We'll air the show twice, she says to me. We'll give you 2 dates and I'll give you the time and then, see how it goes. So fine. So, a few days go by and then the date's coming up or the show's going to air. I said, wow. So I didn't really say nothing to my friends or family. Don't ask me why.
Right.
I didn't say that. So I said, let me see how the first show goes before I say anything.
See how far it goes. Yeah.
So the show airs, Dave, and there's about 3/4 of the way through the show, the phone starts ringing off the wall. Oh my God, you're on TV. And I said, wow, I could not believe the response.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the following week when it aired, I did tell my family and friends that, hey, the show is going to air, watch it.
Yeah.
And they did. And everybody kind of loved it.
Yeah.
The guy really put together a beautiful show about us drag racing, the interview. He even had hill climbing from motorcycles in the show. It was really good. Anyway,
good.
So now we come to the time I have to come back here to Nutmeg in Plainville to pick up the 8-track tape. And I came to the door and to see Noreen, the receptionist who later on that I would get to know real good, I would call the gatekeeper because you could not get nothing by this woman. I'll tell you right now. So she gives me the tape back, and I'm just getting ready to start walk out the door, and I stop, turn around, go back to her desk. I said, Noreen, I got to ask you, son, how do you do this? How do you produce these shows and get this to do like this? And I'll never forget, Dave, she's got her glasses down here. She's looking over her glasses at me, directly in my eyes. She says to me, we'll teach you.
Oh,
I said, what? Yes, we'll teach you.
That's good.
So I said, well, how do you do that? You will take a course here for I don't know how many weeks, 6, 7 weeks. You'll learn how to use equipment, and then you'll get a certificate saying that you are able to become a producer. But you're going to have to be a volunteer first. I said, okay, what'll that entail? Well, you'll help somebody with their show. Okay. So we get that all done, and I'm home one night, and I get a call from a college kid at Central Connecticut State College. And I said, Yeah, can I help you? You say, are you Larry? I say, yes, I am. She said, are you a volunteer at Nutmeg? I said, yes. Larry, my name is Don Fallon. I want to do a variety show at Nutmeg, and I need help. I need somebody in the control room to help with sound and different things. He got another cameraman. His name was Don, too. He went to school with us. So we started doing the shows. I think it was on at 7 o'clock at night. It was like an hour-long show. Anyway, as time goes by, now it got to be winter time, and it was fall, and I get a call, late fall, from Nutmeg, and they say, Larry, we are going to do a championship football game, high school football game at Central Connecticut College. I said, well, that sounds good. What do you want me to do? We want you to help the cameraman who will be on the Berlin side of Berlin. They're playing. Yeah. Oh, this is great. That's our hometown school.
That's right. That was our hometown.
So they were playing Montville for the Class M championship. So, back then, Dave, Nutmeg had this big van, like box van. I mean, you didn't have wireless like you have today. I mean, you had to lay wire, and I mean, it was not a simple thing.
Okay.
So, they said to me, okay, your cameraman will be over in that corner, and go introduce yourself. And I did. So I go down there, Dave. I swear to God, you the viewers, it must have been 10 degrees out that day. It was cold like you would not believe. So I see the camera, I go over the camera area, and I see this guy there standing there. And I introduce myself. I'm Larry Mangello, and he says to me, I'm Dwayne Cody. I'm, a volunteer like you, and you're going to help me. You're going to run interference for me as we're going up and down the sideline,
right,
and keep things under control. The most amazing thing, Dave, was here it is 10 degrees, right? He's wearing shorts.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Later, I would find out that he had a medical problem and he never wore pants.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, so during the football game, there was like halftime and we had spare time to talk. And Dwayne says to me, what's your plan here, Fred? What do you want to do in Nutmeg? I said, well, eventually I'd like to do a show about racing and antique cars and, different special events and stuff like that. He said, what kind of racing? I said, well, I have I got a very liking for road racing at Lime Rock Park. He said, really? He said, I'm going to tell you something. I would love to do that. When you get ready to do this show, you could count me in. I'll be one of your cameramen. So before I even got anything going, I already had a cameraman lined up.
Right, you're set up.
And I said, wow, this is going to be good. So now, don't forget, that was in the winter. Now summer, spring comes and start to get better weather. I have a younger sister, who worked for the Britain Herald. And one of her assignments was to come to Nutmeg TV and interview Joni Whittler, of all people,
ironic,
right?
Because that could be, yeah.
So now listen. This is interesting. So she comes and interviewing Joni and tells Joni, by the way, do you know Larry Mangello? So, oh yeah, he's done, he's a volunteer here now. He's done his coursework. And so you're his sister? Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you, Joni says to her, you tell him to get off his butt and start producing shows. That was her exact words.
That was
My
Lisa,
sister
yeah.
came back, said, Joni said to get off your butt and start producing shows.
Yeah.
I said, okay, all right. So now we had a list of volunteers because I had one cameraman already lined up. So on the list, there was a gentleman named Bill Majak, who, of course, you know, Dave, the history there.
Bill, yeah.
Bill was with me from the start till present, okay? So I called Bill up and explained to him, well, this is what we do, you know? We're gonna do some shows at Lime Rock Park. We're gonna do some shows at the car shows, local cars. He said, I'm in. No, don't even worry about it. So now I have my other cameraman, and now it's time to get credentials to be able to go to Lime Rock Park. Joni writes up a beautiful resume about me and what we're gonna do. I go to Lime Rock Park. They say, absolutely. When are you gonna start? I said, when's the next event?
Right.
So they said to me, we're gonna have a vintage car event coming up.
Yeah.
Where they race vintage cars. I said, oh, that sounds great, you know? So we go there, the Nutmeg, to the Lime Rock Park,
Yeah, Lime Rock.
with our equipment. At that time, you had to come to Nutmeg, pick up your equipment, what you were gonna use, and bring it with you. So we're at Lime Rock, and the very first car that I interviewed was it was actually number 62 Jaguar XKE race car that was raced by the Donovan Motorsport team, which eventually will become very famous because they actually became advertising for Jaguar in what they call the Select Series. Some very famous car drivers they had 3 cars. This number 62, number 63, and number 64. Now, this number 62 car was driven by Al Hobart, who was a very famous road race guy. So we went and taped all day. This was a multi-day, too. It wasn't a one-day affair.
Yeah.
So we get all done. We get the camera, everything back here to the Nutmeg. And now it's time to edit the show, okay? Now, my experience with editing was not up to snuff. I mean, I had a lot to learn. And I have to give the kids credit that had to put up with me, because it took a lot of activity and help from them to learn how to edit shows. At the time, they were little, like tape recorder films that we would tape with, and we would load them into, a computer, and the software I was using was what they call Adobe Elements. At the time, it was like the beginning of somebody's learning experience before you went on to the high-speed Adobe Pro software. But I have to tell you, Dave, the kids that worked here, what they had to put up with me, I mean, I would lose shows in the computer and I said, where am I gonna?
Yeah.
I couldn't find it, or I would lose a clip or something. They would always help me, and we would get by and get the show done, and we started from scratch. That's where it all began, believe it or not. When I think back, we're talking like early 2000s. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a ways, And I would get to know Noreen real good. I told you, I called her the gatekeeper. This woman would not let nothing by, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Noreen, she had her own show called The Cake Lady. Now, naturally, when you make cakes, somebody's got to eat them.
Uh-oh.
So we always had some
Little cake on
some cake to
yeah.
eat here. That was one thing. And she was kind of a really interesting person. And all the help, Dave, I got over the years with Nutmeg and the people I met was very special, you know. And
I'll tell you, Larry, I've never heard the story, but it's quite interesting.
it sure
It
is.
was, and I'd be honest with you, that's the first time I've heard that story.
Yeah.
And getting
Yeah.
back to the beginning of your career.
It all
here.
came about for me getting back into racing.
That's right.
That's
right.
how it came
yeah,
about.
yeah.
You know,
but
and
that
then
was
naturally, you know, we went with you, we interview you at different events.
That's
and,
right.
You know, that's how it all started.
We're all part of the 500 episodes that you.
I mean,
filmed.
today's event is really special. It earmarks, you know, our history.
Yeah, history, yes.
And it's also, I want people to know that it's going to be the beginning of this style show, that we will have a talk show with different race car people. And I hope to do this with what I call the young guns,
That's right.
the new kids on the block.
That's
Your
right.
nephew,
Right.
Tyler,
There's a lot of them.
the
out there.
DiMatteo kids,
That's right.
where they started out at Silver City Midget and the Berlin Fairgrounds,
Yeah.
racing go-karts. That's where it all started. And we're going to bring in racing people and special interest people in our new show, but it'll be coming up in the fall. Race in Action Today talk shows, you know.
We'll be looking forward to it, Larry.
Well, I hope everybody,
I think if it's going to be as good as all your Racing Action episodes that you've had to date, it should be a real classic setup.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to it, Dave. And I just wanted to take a quick minute to talk about the Berlin Fairgrounds. I don't know if the viewers realize that Dave is a line member, which I am too. And Dave, your history there is very special too. And we got the Berlin Fair coming up, and we're going to show you a bumper sticker with the dates. And at the fair, we actually film different things with animals. I mean, we filmed the horse draw.
Yes.
That, believe it or not, I would never have believed that's one of the Bill Majak's favorite things to watch.
Draft horses,
the horse,
yes.
the horse draw.
Yes, draft horses and ponies and oxen.
Yeah, I mean, you name it. And of course, Dave Gallo.
Yes, we have the motorsports area with Dave Gallo and Guidas.
Yeah, he's
wagons and stuff.
You know, he's a good guy, Dave, and you know, his daughter there puts on a little show.
Allison goes in there and shows.
So we have a great time. So
we have the antique tractor museum down there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different things going on.
So
now.
Dave, I want to really thank you for sharing this time with me to celebrate this 500 show. I want to thank the viewers for all the times you emailed me and watched the show, and of course the people here at Nutmeg. I cannot express, you know, how much of a help they've been, and we look forward to our new endeavors coming up, and we're going to get you back, Dave, to kick off this Racing Action Today talk show, and we're going to see what we could do with that. I think the viewers are going to like it. You know, anybody has any questions, you could email me at raceaction@aol.com, and I will gladly let you know what's going to happen. And of course, we air every Friday, 8 in the morning to 8 at night, Saturdays at 4 in the afternoon. A show will air 6 times in 1 week. Some of them are in the middle of the night, like 1:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Somebody working second shift or something.
But the other 3 times, it's during real good hours, you know.
Yeah.
And I just can't express, you know, how thankful I am that we were able to do this today. And I want to, you know, I want to just give a quick word about Bill Majak, who has been with me from day one. He's on some newer endeavors. We wish him the best, and we're going to support him as much as we can, and he will come back to do shows with us here now and then. But, you know, it's been a great time here at Nutmeg. Joni Wedler, I have nothing but great things to say about her, the director here. You know, she's always treated me just like I was part of a family, you know.
Well, I think this was a good representation of your history of how you started this whole racing action today from the beginning, and I'll be thankful. I didn't really realize how much you went through to begin to produce these shows and episodes. Which was
I hope that, I know Nutmeg did do these, you know, get people ready in the past, but lately, you know, it's been kind of tough to get people to do this. And I hope they get that going again and get more volunteers and more people to air shows. But I have to thank everybody involved and you, the viewers, who made this happen. Let me tell you. We look forward to our next episode, and I cannot stress enough that we will continue this as long as we can. Thank you for watching the show, and Dave, as usual, you're right in your game, and we look forward to doing more things with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you. This program is brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center in Berlin, Connecticut.
I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. Today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Andrew Lin.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Wooden.
Decision for ourselves for this week, if we want to be made well.
Hi, welcome to the crack of dawn. It's Dawn Lombardi. I'm starting the painting. It's going to be the clips with some water. Love it.
He took me on the sets of Lost in Space, Batman.
Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time.